and we will be back to both administrations to ask them what was the result of those discussions. And then, well, depending on whatever information coming, at some stage the Bureau would have certainly to take at the end of the day a decision, or even the Radio Regulation Board on it. So just a good point is not because there is no verifications or no these mandatory discussions between the non-GSO system, is not because there is no verification by the Bureau through the regs of those discussions that it's not mandatory and that you should not do it. So that's the point. And thanks for the issue. As I was mentioning, what we are looking, in fact, whenever we received the information, is just the conformity compliance with the table of frequential allocation, including footnote, any compliance with the hard limit, EPFD, that exists in order to ensure that you respect those limits, which generally are here for sharing the services. There are a certain number also of compliance regarding the Earth station that we are verifying. Well, from the, yes, limit of PFD from space station, non-GSO network, station keeping. Well, station keeping, I would say it's more for a GSO type of system. So we are looking at all of those different issues that here, in fact, the list which is here include in fact those regarding purely non-GSO system, non-subject to coordination, but also GSO. And at the end of the day, when the result of these examinations is that the fact that everything is in conformity with the regs, we will provide a favorable finding to your system. And then at that stage, in a way, the assignment shall be recorded in the master register. In fact, the international recognitions is obtained through the fact that you're in conformity with number 1131. Then, depending on your system, I would say for a GSO, definitely there is a coordination, mandatory coordination procedures. So we are verifying what the status of the coordination is. For the non-GSO system, depending on the bands that you are using, some of the bands are subject to coordination. It could be coordination non-GSO, non-GSO. It could be a coordination non-GSO, GSO. It could be also a coordination non-GSO terrestrial, depending on the band and depending on the services. And if you're in one of these particular cases, then we will verify, in fact, further your system against those mandatory coordination. Regarding right now some informations, yes, please.
Yes, well, I would like to ask a question. Well, because is it possible? Because sometimes I want to know whether the band is subject to coordination or not, and sometimes I'm spending time whatever. Yeah. Is there a very simple way to know whether the band is subject to coordination?
911 rules of procedure.
Yes. No, not the point. Yes. Well, that's a good point also. There are two ways to do it. To take the 100 and 200 pages of Article 5, to read the hundreds of footnotes, to read beyond that all of the relation to the recommendation, etc. So, okay, it takes a little time, but at the end, you may find if it's subject to coordination or not. If you have time, good beer, good night, etc., you can do that. Another means to do it more quickly is that, in fact, associated with the radio regulation, there are the rules of procedures, a big book with a rule of procedures. And if you look in the rule of procedures, you will find a rule of procedures on numero 9.11a what means 9.11a? If you look in Article 9, 9.11a extend the list of mandatory coordination between GSO and non-GSO system, non-GSO between themselves and also non-GSO with terrestrial. And so here in the rule of procedures on 9.11a, you have a table with the frequency bands which are subject to this coordination, with a service within those bands which are subject, and with a form of coordination which apply. And in a way, if you choose a frequency range and a service which is not in this table, then you have a band which is not subject to coordination.
You remember the presentation which I gave, the mystery of Article 5? It's there, and there are other tricks. Don't forget also about the footnotes, because there are other tricks that you can see the table, 9.11a. Jan was not here. There are frequency bands, also especially the 400 mega bands, when footnote is hitting 921, which is a coordination requirement, and it's not in the table, it's in the footnote, particularly 450 megahertz band. There is a footnote 286, which is absolutely dangerous. It's calling for 921 coordination. That's why pay attention on it.
Yes, good point. It's true that there is formal coordination request under 9.11a, but there is also this 921, which is a seeking agreement procedures, which is roughly, quickly said, equivalent to coordination. And it's true that if you're using a band and in a band and a service where in the footnote it says that the use of this band and service is subject to 921, which is seeking agreements procedures equivalent to coordination, then you will come under a coordination approach. And in fact, in terms of the API, the information that you will have to provide are simple informations equivalent to those that are to be submitted whenever there is a coordination afterwards. And it's true that there is a few bands used for CubeSat in the amateurs, etc., which are referring to 921.
Just to be crystal clear and correct, it will cost you plus 22,000 Swiss francs, because this is after the coordination request, subject of coordination. Again, we are here not to teach everything. It's in the regs, it's everywhere. That's why before you hit the send button to ITU, you understand. And again, to be friendly with you, you have, it's in the rules of procedure, you have 15 days after you send to say, we did a mistake, withdraw. If you pass the 15 days, cost recovery bill will come, and you can call Yvon, you can call director, you can call any us. We have no right to say sorry. You have to go to the council, and this is financial issue. It's not a regulatory issue. From this moment, it's a financial issue of your administration and the IT finance department. We have cases, we are just saying that be responsible administration, and there is no way to be wrong. Only if you don't pay, and this is again a trick, if you don't pay, you think or you say, I don't need this network anymore, Bureau, cancel it. Okay, or you don't pay, we will cancel it, but you have still to pay because the work was done. And this is again a deep missing of understanding. If you pass the 15 days, bill is coming. Sorry, just to be crystal clear on it.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. You're saying if I had an application that was subject to coordination, there's this extra cost recovery.
Yes.
So two things. is that the only extra fee that I pay, or do I have to pay something according to each other network or administration with which I have to coordinate? Or just the one?
No. Complexity of network. Okay, I didn't do a presentation on cost recovery.
Yeah.
There is a presentation on the web.
Okay.
Depends on the complexity, C1, C2, C3. That's why you pay based on the complexity of network to the bureau. But the license fee is totally different with your administration. And you don't, only how many forms of coordination it's in the CRC or in the notification, how many different types. That's why, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, the maximum fee which may go coordination and notification subject of course up to 90,000 Swiss francs for subject. For not subject is 450 API, 7,500 notification if it's not EA service. Okay, clear?
Yeah, that's great. And then the other thing is, does the 10-month timescale still apply if I'm subject to coordination, or is it going to take a lot longer than that?
Sorry?
Is it still only going to take? Is it still only going to take 10 months if I'm subject to coordination to go through the process?
No. You are completely wrong. We presented here the 9 months for not subject of coordination.
Yes,
For the subject of coordination, the rules are totally different. You can submit your coordination 6 months from date of receipt of API. Okay? Minimum 6 months, maximum 2 years. You send a coordination request with all the details. Bureau will do examination, establish coordination requirements. After that, before notifying, still again, you can notify 3 years in advance, but you have to do all the coordination when Bureau will find the affected administration. Do the coordination, when you finish the coordination, you can come notification and still in the 7 years. But it's not that you come somehow in the 9 months. Forget, if the network is subject of coordination. It's, as I told you today morning, for complex networks, you will be happy if you will finish in 5 years. Mario can say to you and others, it's, Yvon, agree with me around 5 years.
Well, I think that your message is too much negative. Too much negative. And frightened, etc. Yes, it's 4 years and 300 days. No, but no. The issue, the issue is really a little dependent on the complexity of your system, but it is also about what we're talking about. Here, if we're talking about GSO, and I would say why very often people are really looking at 7 years, and at the end of the day, at the end of the 7 years, they are panicking a little because they have a real project. There are millions of dollars there, etc. They will launch, and they could miss the bringing into use at the end of 7 years. And I will explain why it's happened like that. Because you send your API, well, 6 months after you send your coordinations, and roughly during 3-4 years you don't do anything. Just because everybody is roughly doing the same thing, so a lot of coordination. Maybe you don't have a real project behind, it's just still in your mind. So very often during 2-3 years, you're waiting for anybody that filed before you and that won't be a real system to disappear in order to minimize the number of coordinations. And then step by step, after 2-3 years, in a way, within your company, concerning the financings, concerning the system itself, it's materialized, and people said, yes, we should go there, etc. And you find that at the end of the day, from the 7 years, during 3-4 years, you didn't do anything, and within 3 years, you have to do everything. And to do everything is certainly, you have discussed coordination with any system with which coordination is required. However, during those 3 years, well, you need to have your satellite built. You need to have this satellite launch in order to ensure that you bring into use your frequency assignment within the 7 years. So this is roughly how it's happened. if I look right now to a system, a small sat, CubeSat, and NanoSat type of satellites, for which you will be using frequency bands which are subject to coordination. In a way, the same thing would happen, in fact, for your system in terms of